We're going to do a little exercise. I have CS6 open over here of the technical skills that you need, the specific functions to create a concept board. Okay, so I have some little images that we're all going to share, and the final product of the board will look something like this, where will be some of the things that we've used are a gradient mask, a vector mask, a layer mask. We're actually going to draw on a layer mask to create some clouds. We're going to recolor this to be exactly what we want. We're going to refine the edges when we move the bird and we remove the background of the bird and we put it on. We're going to learn how to feather an edge of a mask. And we're also going to do a clip mask where we've got the name here, Buffalo, and there's a clip mask. And we're also going to apply some filters. Some different artistic filters were applied to these shapes here. Now for this little exercise, I got some buildings from Buffalo. One is the new courthouse. Over here, this is the new courthouse in downtown Buffalo, and this is the Dunn building. So we're going to start out with creating a file new, and we can name this SPEC for special FUNCT underscore EX for exercise and your last name. Okay, so what are we going to make it? We're going to make it 10 wide, 10 inches wide. Make sure you have the inches on. 7.5 high. When you do your concept board, it's going to be 300 dpi, but for this exercise, we're going to do 150 RGB color, and we go OK, and we open it up. And we move it here to the side. Now I'm going to move this down, this finished board. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this image we have of the Dunn building. We have our little black move tool and we just drag it over here. And once we do that, you can actually get rid of that image. Okay? And so we're going to take this, and you can use your little zoom tool and hit the Alt so you can see how it looks. Now I can make this a little bit bigger by grabbing this, hitting the transform button, clicking on a corner, and I always hit the maintain aspect ratio and make it a little bit bigger, then hit the check. Okay, so at this point I'm going to make a vector mask, and I need the pen tool for that. So I take the pen tool and I just start clicking. I'm clicking on the outline of the building. See, I'm just clicking. Click here, and I'm far away, so I'm sure I'm going to mess some of these lines up. Okay, if you have a curved line, you always kind of drag it a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going down here, and then I'll go over here, and then I'll go here, and there's a little circle on the lower right side to end it. Okay, so at this point I can go in closer if I want to move it around and change it around. In order to do that, I have to use the white arrow tool for the direct selection tool. And I click on the path and see I can move it a little bit. Now here I am on my layer. I've got my path drawn over the image. I could go up to layer and vector mask and current path. See? I have the current path and I have this little mask over here. Now I can still move here and I can make some adjustments if I want, like over here. And a little more of this will be hidden. So I can still add points and I can shape it if I want more things hidden over here. So that's what I'll do over here. I'll kind of fine tune it a little bit. Okay, and then I can click on the mask section and I can say rasterize vector mask. So now I've got it rasterized. So once it's rasterized, those points are gone and I can't work anymore with the pen tool because I've turned it into pixels. Okay, but as you can see when you look on the little picture here on your layer palette, the background is still there. So what I can do is I go on the mask, I right click it, and I say apply layer mask. So once I apply layer mask, then I've just got this image over here. So at this point I'm going to take this with my black arrow tool. I have my transform on. If I hold my shift when I pull this, then it will be pulling in proportion. See? And then I hit the check or I hit the enter button, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in, this is the new courthouse. I'm going to drag this over, the new courthouse. I'm going to go to the eye here on the done building and take it off. I've got the new courthouse. I'm going to take the transform tools, click, hit the maintain aspect ratio, make it larger, hit the check, and right away I'll take my little pen and I'll grab it here, point, point, drag, 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 and I'm dragging to make a curve, and then click for straight, click, click, and then click drag, click drag, and then the little, I close it over here. Now I see that there's a little bit of a, up here I have a little bit that I think I have to change it. Get my white arrow over here. See, I can move this point. Okay, and I can move this point a little bit. And this one. So you can also add points if you want, and there's handles on some of these too. You can work with the handles. So when you get it to looking something which you like, okay, go up here and go layer, vector mask, layer, vector mask, current path. Okay, so at this point we can rasterize it and we can apply layer mask and we can put on the done building then. And so now we've got two shapes we made with the vector mask. We're going to take this one. Now if you want this pen to go off, you would find your path palette and just click off your path palette. Okay, so now we've got the courthouse. We're going to make it large, kind of so it fills the page. Bring it down, and then we go to the layer palette and we duplicate it. We duplicate it and then we go to edit, transform, flip horizontal. So we have two of these. Okay, we have one here and we have one here. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to focus a little bit on the background. Okay, so on the background you might as well go right to your color palette and take your eyedropper and the blue and use your bucket and pull the blue in on the background, and then make a new layer, and you can call this cloud. And on this layer that you call cloud, you're going to drop white in, and then you're going to go to layer, layer mask, hide all. Okay, you have a black layer mask here. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your brush. I've got a 33 on mine opacity and a 56 flow. You can make it bigger or smaller with your right or left brackets. Make sure your color chips are black and white and that you have the mask selected. And you can just start clicking. Here I've got the white, see? And some of the white is coming out, and I'm kind of making kind of like cloud-like. So you can make these cloud-like shapes in the background. So that'll be your cloud background. Okay, so the next is we're going to make a kind of a sun. So take a layer and name it to sun. Okay, then take your marquee, your elliptical marquee tool, hold your shift. Okay, when you're on that layer, and select the color from your colors, the yellow, and drop it in. And there is your sun. In the background. You can move it around to wherever you like. So now we're going to attempt to start doing a little bit of recoloring. We're going to go on the done building here, and we're going to get rid of each one of these. We're going to get rid of the color. Okay, so for the done building, we'll go up to image. To get rid of the color, you go to image attachment, desaturate, which is Shift Control U. Okay, now I'm on one of these court buildings. Shift Control U. Now I'm on the other one. Shift Control U. Okay, now I'm back on the done building, and I select this tan, kind of a tan color for my chips, and I go to Image, Adjustments, and Hue Saturation, and Colorize. So I have the color on the done building. So now I'm going to go to these courthouse buildings, and I'm going to select a color, and I will select one of these buildings, and I will go to Image and Adjustment, Hue Saturation, and Colorize. And you can increase your saturation if you want. Okay, then I will select another building and select one of the other colors and go to Image, Adjustment, and Hue Saturation, and Colorize. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is on this building on the right side, I want part of it to be invisible. Okay, like in the original one that I showed you, it was kind of fading. See? It's kind of fading over here. So that's what we're going to do. So what we can start with is we can take our wand, we're on that layer, we select everything, we go to Layer, Layer Mask, Hide Selection. Okay, now we're on the mask and we select the gradient tool. We make sure black and white are in here, and then we experiment. We have the two colors of the gradient here, and we have the linear, and you're on the mask and you click and you see part of it goes away. Do Control Z and you can try again. Click, part of it goes away. So you do it till you get it the way you like it. Okay? So this is pretty good over here. I have part of it going away on the layer mask. So this one is done. I'll show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Okay? So now on this mask over here, on this the other building, you can take it, and I'm going to show you how to feather it. You would grab it with this wand. You select everything there in the back, and then you go up to Select, Modify, Expand, and you're going to expand it by 20. And you can see, I'll go in close so you can see. You see how it went over the edge by 20? And then you're going to go Select, Modify, Feather. And we're going to feather by 20. Okay, so we feathered the edge, and then we're going to go Layer, Layer Mask, and we're going to hide the selection. See what happened to the edge? That whole edge is feathered. This is what the mask looks like. This is what see that soft feathered edge? So it's not a hard edge there on the mask. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these two buildings so you practice when you pull in pictures and images that are of low quality and you make them bigger, the quality is still really bad. So your ideal is to get high quality images. But if all you can find is low quality images, we go up to Filter and we put some sort of an artistic filter on it. Like here, this is sponge on here. So we'll say, okay, so this has a sponge filter on it. So we'll go over here and we'll go up again to the filter gallery. And here's poster edges, and there's also a cutout on here too. There's two filters on here. So you can move them, some in the front, some in the back. You can adjust the settings on the filters, but the filters usually give a kind of a very nice artistic quality to everything. Okay, so we've got already quite a few. We've got a feathered edge, we've got a gradient edge, we have a hard edge layer filter on the building, and we actually drew on one of our layer masks for the clouds. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the bird, okay, and we're going to take our wand, and I've got a 20 tolerance with the anti-alias and contiguous. Okay, I select around the edge, and then I go Select Invert, and then I go to Refine Edge. Okay, and you could put your Smart Radius on, Radius 1, Smart Radius, and then you actually can use your Zoom tool here, and you can go around the edge here, and this will clean this edge where it's feathery. This is perfect if you're trying to capture maybe hair on something. Maybe you have something with hair or fur that you want to put on. So I'm going around the edge of this bird to try to get the soft edge. And I also hit here Decontaminate Colors and New Layer with Layer Mask. And then I hit OK. And then I go over here to this layer and I say Apply Layer Mask. And then I take this bird with my black arrow and bring it over here and move it to the front over here. Okay, we're almost done. We'll do a clipping mask. So you're going to take, for the clipping mask, you take the text tool and you can spell out buffalo. I think we'll just do black for this because we're going to change these colors. Okay, so we've got black here. You can make it a text that you like. You can change the text that's there. This is where you change the text over here. Okay, so we've got buffalo over here. So now, before we make a clipping mask, we're going to make an empty layer here. And we have to have our color palette near us. Bring my color palette here. Okay, and I'm going to hit the gradient tool, and I'll find a 4-color gradient up here. This looks like a 4-color one right here. Okay, so I click this, and I click on it over here, And on each one I take the yellow and I grab my yellow. I take the next color and I'll grab one of these other colors. Take another color, grab a color here, take another color, grab a color here. Now I could even add the blue if I wanted. So a minimum of 4 colors I'll put on here. Or I can change the order of these colors if I want. Just click it and grab the color the way you want the order. And I go OK. Now I'm on this empty layer here and I grab it just like this. See? Just like this. And I have the text underneath and I go between it with my mouse and I right click and I go create a clipping mask. And there's my clipping mask. Now when I click on the text, I can take my black arrow and I can move it around. See? I can do that. So while I'm on the text, I go up to Layer, Layer Style, and put a drop shadow on it. So now I have a drop shadow here. I have the sun. I have it recolor to the sky. If I want to add more clouds at any time, I click here and I can add more clouds, see, at any time. You can also fill in. If I want to fill in the clouds, see, I can fill in. So you should practice with that, with working with the clouds. Okay, now if I want to change around at all the bird, I think there's inside of the bird here, there's these little colors here. If I want to recolor them, should have named this layer bird. Okay, sometimes this replace color works and sometimes it doesn't. So what I'm going to do is I'll go here to Image, Adjustment, Replace Color, and you can click on something you want to replace and you can add this plus to get these. And sometimes, since it's a close color, maybe I'll grab this with a weird color like this. Here, I'll grab this. See? So I know I have quite a few of them there, this orangey, so I could put this red here. See? And I can increase the saturation. There. So now I've kind of colored it to what I have over there. Okay, maybe I want to go back and I want to put a kind of a gradient on this building in the background and have it maybe getting dark either to the side or to the bottom. Okay, so I'll put a dark color in. Okay, there's a dark color in my front one, and I'll take my wand. I select the background here. I'm on the Done Building layer. And I go Control-Shift-I to invert it. And then I go to this little Fill Adjustment layer over here. And I hit Gradient. And you see it takes the front color here. The gradient is here. And there's a 90 angle. Or I can change it and see what it looks like. I'm not sure where this is. There it is to the side. Okay, there it's going dark to the side over here. And if I like that, I can say OK, and I can always go up to the opacity and the fill here, and I can make it a little lighter with just a little shadow coming from the back. See, that's little touch-ups you can do. And then I can always say, OK, I like it, so I will apply this. I can merge this down one. Go to Layer, Merge Down. So now it's applied to this, okay? And now that it's merged down, maybe I want to put a layer style on this. And I can try some different things here with the layer styles. See, there's bevel. So you should be playing a lot with these layer styles. There's kind of an inner glow. There's a satin on it. color overlay. There's another gradient overlay, drop shadow. So maybe you want to put a drop shadow on it, and then you would have your layer style on it. So those are some of the different things that you can do to really, those are the special little touch-up things to make your concept board really beautiful. So we really did a lot of things on this. We did the gradient mask, the vector mask, the layer mask. We drew on the layer mask. We recolored it with our custom colors. We refined the edge on the bird. We worked with the feather edge on the mask. And we also worked with the clipping mask and applying the filters. So once you get it like this, you would save it, just the way I said, and then you would hand it in. Save it as a PSD so that when I open it, I see all the different layers over here and I see what you've done here, so that I can see you've used all these different masks. Okay, that's it.